and welcome to Totally Tell Me, a weekly entertainment review podcast where we talk about movies, music, food, and fun. My name's Dominic Mercurio, and I'm here with Laura Weinbach.
Yo.
Sup, Laura?
Nothing.
Great.
How are you?
I want there to be nothing going on for you.
Okay.
And our guest today is...
No, don't say that.
Oh, you know I'm just joshing.
Something has to go on for me at some point soon, but nothing's happening now, so go ahead with Spencer.
Okay, great. Oh, you blew it. I mean, guess what, everybody? It's Spencer Owen. Spencer Owen, here's our guest. It's Spencer Owen.
Okay.
Hi.
Spencer Owen's back. He's been on the show several times. If you don't know him, he's also a musician. And if you're tuning in live, you just heard his song, 7-Year Kiss, which you can find on his brand new EP, which is available on Bandcamp. Is it available elsewhere or just on Bandcamp?
Just Bandcamp right now. That's all.
There you go, everybody. So give her a listen, give her a download, whatever you got to do. Just do it for your sake. But Spencer Owen, we're glad to have you back. We're glad to have you back on the show.
Oh man, I'm so happy to be back in your arms, both of your arms together.
Are you crying? Are you crying?
No,
it's adorable.
It did appear that I was crying, but
you're tearing up.
That'd be funny if every time someone cried, they were like shedding tears, and someone goes, "Are you crying?" And they go, "No."
Oh no!
Don't want to admit to it.
Goodness, no! Oh no!
I would never.
No, it's just one of my many inappropriate COVID era face touching incidents. That's all.
Absolutely. So you're coming to us live from floating through the sky. It looks like.
Yeah, I took a picture of the sunset that was on my dog walk 2 hours ago, nigh on 2 hours ago, and it's here for you to enjoy.
Nigh on.
Lovely.
That's fun.
Where do you live, Spencer? Can we get your address?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to go ahead and give out your? Yeah, we're live by the way. So.
Like, what area do you live in?
Laura, did you actually give out your HBO Max login the other day?
Hell's no. What makes you say that?
Oh, there was you either pretended to or actually did on an episode recently. Anyway,
I did?
Yeah, it was back in December. Anyway,
I vaguely recall such a thing.
I live in Oakland.
I know, what part? Like Lake Merritt?
Yeah, basically. I mean, I live like a 7-minute walk from the Lake Merritt. I like on the east side of the lake. There's a hill between me and the lake. You got to go around it to get there quicker. But yeah,
I know that hill.
It's easy.
I know about hills. I know about generic. I know about hills. Actually.
Do you know about the hills? There's a guy named Spencer on that show. I never saw it.
I know about that king. What's his name? King
of the Hill.
I know about that king.
Right. You guys got that king, right?
I know.
I don't think that's how that works.
What is the link between the hills and I know about that king? I'm trying to figure out the link between those two things.
Wait, did you guys watch King of the Hill? Because it never really
that
fully
link.
clicked.
That's the link. Okay, I get it now.
Not really.
Yeah, I mean, I tuned in occasionally.
Kinda.
Just couldn't really. It never really like locked in for me. I feel like
King of the Hill was a show that when I saw it on television, I was always glad to be watching it. But it didn't. It's not like it has lasting fond memories, but it's not a lasting thing where like I think of it out of nowhere. I have to be reminded of it, and then when I'm reminded of it, I'm like, oh yeah, that was fun. Nice show. Nice fun show.
It seemed fairly fun. I just never took a deep dive, as they say.
Right.
I think that's what a lot of the Mike Judge things are like for me. It's like, I don't think about
Beavis and Butthead, though, I was kind of deep on that.
I was such a nerd.
Well, that's different.
You didn't like Beavis. I wasn't like super into it when it was on. I mean, I liked it and I watched. It's funny because I never liked the videos that much when they would watch the music videos. Like I like music videos on MTV, but I wasn't into it when they would watch it on Beavis and Butthead. But
making fun of it.
Recently watching the show, hilarious. The parts where they're watching the videos are maybe the best parts. It's like really hilarious. The things they say about these bands, it's just absolutely golden. So funny.
I feel about Beavis and Butthead, this is going to seem counter to the cultural idea of what this show was like or supposed to be for. but I feel like I had to grow up to actually enjoy the show.
Yeah, it's
like
funny.
when I was young, I didn't get it, and I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was stupid. I was like, I need smarter funny things than this.
But it's actually really smart.
I need Monty Python. Okay?
Oh my god, that is so funny because Monty Python is kind of like more. I mean, I think of Monty Python as kind of silly, like slapstick humor.
Oh, it's dumb. It's some of the dumbest
dumb.
things that have ever been produced in history. It's just that they reference philosophers all the time. Or whatever.
Right,
but like it seemed. I mean, it's brilliant in its dumbness.
I mean, I guess I honestly I never really got into Monty Python. I've maybe watched like one episode or something like that. But
I mean,
I just,
it's probably too late. But for you, but
I tried, but I was like, I just don't get it.
What about the movies? Wait,
And I love period piece stuff. Don't get me wrong.
have you not seen a Monty Python film?
Oh no! Wait, is it
Like
they
Holy
have
Grail or?
Well, I know about the movies, of course, but like, wait,
Life
did
of
Monty
Brian?
Python? Monty Python was also a show, though, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Monty
Flying
Python's
Circus.
Flying Circus.
Yeah, I just never. I tried watching it, and I was like, this is not for me.
But the
It's
movies.
like I know I tried. Well, I must have tried a little bit. I think I don't know.
I mean, the Holy Grail, Life of Brian, and The Meaning of Life.
There's some good stuff
Great.
in there.
They're
There's some
great.
good
Are
stuff
they
in there.
really?
Yeah.
I'll try again.
Really
Give it a shot.
I'll try again.
Give it a shot.
I mean, again, I haven't seen them in a long time, but they're great.
I'll
I
tell
guess-
you. I mean, yeah.
Nay have I, nary have I seen.
Nigh have you.
Nigh have I,
Nigh on,
nary
nigh
ever,
on.
dever seen.
Nary means never.
Okay, well, look, I don't
Nary
I don't
upon and
speak
nigh
old
on.
English. Okay, I speak modern 2021 English. All right. If you are watching us, you could, or what I should say is, you could be watching us on Twitch, Facebook, or YouTube. We're currently live there, or you could theoretically be listening to us later on in the future on any podcast services. But if this is your first time checking us out, we go live every 2 weeks on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. So you can always check out our next episode if you're listening later, which will be February 14th. But yeah, right now we're going to be just kind of hanging out for a bit. And then in our second half of the episode, we're going to be reviewing Promising Young Woman, which is a new dark comedy thriller, which is written and directed by Emerald Fennell, which is her feature debut. So if you've seen that movie, actually, if you've seen it or you haven't, we'll be starting the review in the second half of the episode, and it'll start spoiler-free. So you have nary a worry that we would give anything away about this movie until properly notified in some sort of delivery of, well, I mean, look, I don't know. Like it's falling apart. I mean, I don't know any more words of Old English. I don't watch Game of Thrones. Shit.
Oh my god, they do not speak Old English in Game of Thrones.
They may as well.
Your language is too current, Dominic. It's too cutting edge.
All I can say is like dab and
Dab.
The most
TikTok
thing
and
that exists is dabbing.
I think I'm getting old, everybody. It's like
Or
quarantine is
not
really
old enough.
right. Yeah.
Or everyone else is getting younger. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But at any rate,
Could be.
Very meaningful, profound statement there.
So we're gonna talk about Promising Young Woman later, but I do want to hear what you guys have been checking out lately. So Spencer, why don't we start with you? What have you been watching lately?
Well, late breaking Flash. I'll just throw this out there in case, like me, you thought that the Sundance Film Festival was not available to you. It is.
It is.
So I this morning realized that, and I watched a Sundance movie today called "I Was a Simple Man," which was a very pretty film. Wish I'd seen it in a theater, but nonetheless, it's cool that I get to see movies like that that are only like festival premiere type movies, like at the country's most storied film festival, in my home without having to fly to Utah. So that was cool. And then tomorrow I'm going to be watching Edgar Wright's latest film, which is a documentary about the band Sparks, who I love. And I love Edgar Wright too, so I can't wait to watch that tomorrow. So
Question about
happening in your house.
Question about the Sundance thing. Do you like buy one pass that lets you see all the films, or is it do you buy individual tickets, or what's up with that?
You can buy a pass if you're someone who knew about it a long time ago. I didn't. Truly this morning was like, oh, that Sparks documentary by Edgar Wright is showing at Sundance. Wait a second, I can watch it. What? So
wait, have you ever been to Sundance before?
Oh no.
Oh, okay, I was just curious.
No, and my wife has been to Sundance, and I'd forgotten that she had been to Sundance because she had some work in the area, and she timed it so she could go to Sundance. But I thought Sundance was just like something that only film critics with a gold star, or whatever could like attend. But
I mean, anyone can attend normally.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course.
And I've
like
always wanted to
festival.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, the barrier is that it's in Utah. But
right.
But anyway, so you can buy a pass, but those sold out a while ago. So I just you can buy single tickets for any screening that hasn't sold out. So,
oh, nice.
Gotcha.
As of this morning, the Sparks one tomorrow was not sold out. But talking of Letterboxd, a recent log.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk more about Letterboxd, I guess, later because we're talking about recent watchings now. Toys from 1992.
Wait, starring it's not Jack Nicholson, but
Nicholson.
Robin Williams.
Not Jack Nicholson, but Robin Williams.
Robin Williams.
Yes.
Okay. I recall that getting extremely bad. Oh wait, am I thinking? Yeah, bad reviews.
No, you're not wrong. I mean,
I'm not wrong.
I should say Jack by also starring
Jack. That's
Robin
the
Williams
one. No,
is
that
a
got the
way
extreme.
More panned movie.
Okay, I was like, I always confuse those two, Toys and Jack.
Jack is it's hard to blame you for it because Jack is about a man, 11-year-old boy who is in the body of
who's a man,
40-year-old.
Oh right, yeah, that movie's jacked.
Yeah, it's a Jack. Jack is jacked.
Jack is jacked.
But Toys, directed by Barry Levinson.
Oh, Barry, right?
Is Barry?
That old Barry.
What did he do? What else did he do?
Oh, I want to say Diner was one of his. I'm gonna look it up real quick. Actually,
I didn't see that.
The Natural, Good Morning Vietnam. So he had worked with Robin Williams before. Rain Man. Okay, he made Rain Man. Anyway, so he did this movie Toys in 1992. He'd had like 15 years of prestige movie making behind him, and this thing is something I grew up watching, and I hadn't seen it in a long time, and it's insane in a way that is really, I don't know. I guess I recommend it. I think I have to recommend it because it's
right.
It doesn't work in the normal ways a movie works, even though it tries.
Is it entertaining?
It's very entertaining.
Is it Christmas time?
Yes. It is. Although I think opens.
Does he work in like a toy factory or something like that?
Yes.
Okay, I've seen it.
You may be remembering it. It's coming to you.
Maybe I didn't see Jack.
Yeah. You haven't seen Jack. I saw Jack.
I ain't seen
and
Jack.
It's bad.
It's very Jack shit.
Maybe I've seen it. I don't know. It's funny that he did all these movies where he was like some Jack type character.
I mean, I'm pulling this movie out because, like we were talking about before we started rolling, I watch so many movies and log them on Letterboxd these days. I'm just racking up my loggings, and I
follow you, by the way, and I'm always checking in on what you're viewing. I mean,
likewise.
I'm gonna get my ass on that shit.
Yeah,
I mean, again, Letterboxd, we would love a sponsorship. Absolutely would love a sponsorship, but for the meantime,
Popeyes, fuck it.
I mean, sure, yeah, Popeyes too, but
anyone, just help us out of it,
please.
Letterboxd, Popeyes.
But I use the shit out of Letterboxd. I mean, man, anyone watching, just get on Letterboxd and hit me up because I'll follow you, and I'm always curious what people are watching, and I feel like that's a really easy way to like keep up with the times,
Yeah, it's great, and also just the whole Sundance thing, like it's funny to be on Letterboxd during a virtual Sundance presentation where all these movies are premiering for the first time in any way, like in every way. Like no one has seen these movies before they show on these Sundance programs on the website. So before a movie airs on Sundance, a movie has 0 reviews on Letterboxd. And then as soon as the movie has shown on Sundance, it has like 350 reviews.
Yeah, because a lot of, I feel like Letterboxd started with movie reviewers, and it has now slowly expanded. Of course, anyone can join, but there's just so many. It's like a place for film nerds, which is obviously film critics and other people. But I mean, it definitely starts with a lot. The groundwork is filmmakers and film critics.
I follow a lot of those. Yeah, for sure.
And actually, Promising Young Woman premiered at Sundance last year. It's only now just coming out for the public. But yeah, if you aren't familiar with Sundance or how it works too, it's like these movies are premiering. Like the first time they're ever being shown is Sundance. And then throughout 2021, these movies will slowly be released, picked up by various distributors. Like, we talk about A24 all the time, but they would be present normally at a Sundance and then pick up movies and take them to the theaters for you guys to check out. Hereditary actually was also a Sundance premiere and was getting tons of buzz. Everyone was like, coming out of Sundance, everyone was like, holy shit, this movie's crazy. A24 swooped in, picked it up, released it like 8 months later.
Now Ari Aster is synonymous, veritably synonymous with A24.
Yeah.
So yeah, fascinating and interesting to finally kind of like be able to participate. But anyway, all this is to say, my watch list just gets longer and longer with a bunch of things I haven't seen, and then sometimes and occasionally a movie that I have seen, but it's been a long time, like Toys. I was just like, oh yeah, that thing. And so when I watched it again, I also vividly recalled that I had the soundtrack CD, because this thing is bizarre. Hans Zimmer and Trevor Horn collaborated on the score. Hans Zimmer is not
don't love him.
a hit guy for me either.
Sorry, Hans.
But he's working with Trevor Horn, who was a avant-garde pop producer at the time. He was behind like Frankie Goes to Hollywood and The Art of Noise and these other bizarre 80s British bands. He was briefly a member of Yes. But he's like they collaborated on the soundtrack, and it has like songs that they also worked on in it in addition to the score. So like Tori Amos sings a weird like workers anthem in it.
That's interesting.
That they wrote.
That could be worth checking out.
It's like an early 90s like Ace of Base style song that she sings.
Oh no! Don't compare her to them, please.
It's not.
Sacrilege.
I'm not comparing her to them. I'm saying the song. The song.
Well.
She just sings it, is all I'm saying.
She considers her songs to be her children, so don't fucks with it.
Hey, I had a Boys for Pele t-shirt that I wore to school.
I love the Boys for Pele album.
1996.
That was one of the first CDs I got in my pack of 10 CDs for the price of one from Columbia House.
What a deal.
Best buy I ever got. You know about that?
Oh my God. Did I sign up for Columbia House?
I totally did it and never paid a dime for anything.
I think my
why?
parents probably ended up paying for some.
See, they let me do it, but I found out from my friend at school that if you signed up for the Columbia House deal and you're under 18, they can't make you pay. So I was like, great, I'm out.
And if you're an undercover cop, you have to say you're a cop, right? That's the other one.
Yeah, I guess that. Well, I was like I think I was in elementary school when it all went down, and I was just like, well, I guess I'm not paying.
I definitely signed up for
think
that
I even
deal.
had that.
And then I remember one day, I think it had gone too far because a Shaquille O'Neal CD showed up at random at our house.
Right. They started sending ones I didn't order. I got a Presidents of the United States of America album, and I was like, what the fuck? I didn't order this shit.
Yeah. Right? Yep.
I'll take it, though. I'll take it, though.
Yeah, that's a fun
album. I did order Get a Grip by Aerosmith. That's no better.
It is not better. No,
it's funny. I have all these CDs that were like, I just was checking off boxes because I was like, well, I guess I know some songs on this album. I'll take it. And later on in life, when I was like in high school, I didn't really care about a lot of the CDs that I got at that time. And from when I was in elementary school, and my brother Brent, like, really wanted to just have CDs, like for the sake of having CDs. So he like asked me if he could have my Get a Grip album, and I was like, I guess you could have it.
Can I have it? Can I have it? I want to have a CD of something. Can I have
to,
that
like,
one?
He wanted to have like most of my CDs, and I mostly gave them to him, but I would not give him Doggy Style by Snoop Doggy Dogg or The Chronic by Dr. Dre.
No, keep those.
I wanted to keep those, and he asked for the Boys for Pele album, and I was like, no.
No, Boys for Pele is fantastic.
But I think he did keep Jagged Little Pill.
Sure, I mean we all kept that. Anyway, I feel like I'm taking. Well, you didn't keep it. Someone kept it. Someone all kept it. Someone all kept it. I am very much okay. Sorry, completely derailing this.
Back to
Toys. Here's the logline on Toys: bizarre soundtrack, including a song sung by Robin Williams in a David Byrne impression, written by Thomas Dolby, which is a set piece in the movie where they do a weird fake music video to trick some people watching a surveillance camera. This is really something that happens. But then the movie itself is just oddly beautiful. Like it's like beautifully art directed, super weirdly colorful, and like a lot of really creative imagery. And as everyone in the cast is just kind of hanging out, like they're just hanging out in these weird sets. It has a plot around like war toys, and like it tries to make a point and it fails, but it's like fine. It's still like
no
a
Toy
really
Story.
It's no. It is a toys story, but it's no Toy Story. It's a really nice movie in the way that it is just like easy to watch and super bizarre. So if
do you like Terry Gilliam? Like, do you like?
Yeah.
You know, Terry Gilliam is Monty Python, right? He's part of Monty Python.
In Monty Python.
Or yeah, he was part of the posse.
He was in Python.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
He's one of the Pythers.
I do like Gilliam, and I feel like this movie is
It's sounding like that.
It's Gilliam-esque. It is better than many Terry Gilliam movies and worse than a couple.
Like, do you like the Adventures of Baron? Do you like the Adventures of Baron Munchausen?
Oh man, yes, but it's worth rewatching. You know what I'm gonna do?
Put it on the list.
He's putting it on his letterbox is what he's doing.
See, I rewatched it somewhat recently, and I found it to be. I remember loving it when I was a kid, or like when I was probably in junior high or something like that. Would watch it around the holidays, and I don't know. I rewatched it recently, and I felt that it was a bit unbearable.
Well,
high. It's like stressful to watch because it's so kind of loud and it's very like this. You know.
Yeah, Gilliam has a couple modes, and that's one of them for sure.
But that's how I feel about Hans Zimmer's music too.
Mostly his music is artless, I would say. I would say that.
But I heard that he doesn't really like write a lot of it nowadays.
Oh God, he's got a production house.
Yeah, he has a production. But
as a score guy, Hans Zimmer is like a guy with a studio who has a lot of ideas to use it. Like he's not really a strong composer in any sense, I would say.
But like I feel like the way you just described Toys, it reminds me of like something like a Adventures of Baron Munchausen type of movie where
probably, but again, it's
really interesting, but
it's way more low key than that. Okay. Like I have to say, like it's weirdly not shrill or extreme. It's a little bit. It's just easy to watch, oddly, and yet weird, and yet kind of flashy in its like production style.
I'll give it a shot. I'll give it.
I like Brazil. I like 12 Monkeys. I mean, these are classics, but Gilliam can miss a lot. So.
Oh, we have gone down a real nerdy path here. I feel like
somebody save it.
Nobody knows what we're talking about unless you know Terry Gilliam or
Gilliam. Come on, people.
Well, I mean, I know. I mean, I just feel like But Laura, what have you been watching? I see a few things on here.
Well, I suppose I could throw a couple things out there. I mean, no one's gonna care. Look, I watched, okay, a lot of like not bad. Michael Douglas has been on the screen in our house quite a bit lately. We watched a movie called A Perfect Murder, which is based on a play called Dial M for Murder. Came out in the like late 90s, early 2000s, I think, starring
Albert Hitchcock as well.
Wait, Hitchcock what?
Did a Dial M for Murder situation.
Oh yeah, right. But kind of fun. Gwyneth Paltrow, a youngish Gwyneth
I think
Paltrow.
I saw this movie when it
I
came.
will say this: the word affair applies to this film. It has that feel of like.
What
do
a
you think of when
tease.
you hear? What do you think of when you hear the word affair? I think of like an older couple, kind of middle-aged, not youthful. You know what I mean? Like
brandy snifters.
sort of a brandy snifter, brandy sniffing, like kind of.
So
Michael
guess-
Douglas to me is a synonymous with the word affair. You know what I mean? Like he just has. I feel like he embodies that vibe of I'm having an affair.
Is it only an
you know
affair
what I mean?
if you're married, or?
I think so.
Because if you're not married, is it just you've been cheated on, or at what point is cheated on?
I think
out?
it's no. I think I think you do have to be married, but like I can't imagine like a young. I don't know, like who's married that seems young. I don't know.
Well, but what I'm asking is like, if you're
like-
married, would you all? If you're married, do you have the choice to be like, he cheated on me, or he had an affair?
I feel like they would say he's having an like
Yeah,
when
that's the
when,
thing.
when
I
like
believe
a wife or
Bernard is
husband
having an
confronts the
affair.
other one. No, like they're like, are you having an affair?
Somebody
Like I would never
naming
say
it.
that to Anton or something. Like if I suspected he was having an affair, I would never return to him and go, Anton, tell me now. Are you having an affair? It just wouldn't feel right.
But would
It's
you say, "Are
naming-
you cheating on me"?
If I was cheating on him, I wouldn't be like, honey, I'm having an affair. It just feels wrong. It feels so
It
early
should
90s.
feel wrong. It should.
feels so
You know what? It should
Glenn
feel wrong.
Close in whatever the fuck movie that was. You know.
I feel like it's always named by either the person being accused or the person doing it in a way that's like very, and it.
I think you know who always
makes
seemed like an
sense when it
affair.
happens.
You know who seems like an affair? Julia Roberts. Even when she was young in Sleeping with the Enemy, for example, she
Mhm.
was having an affair per se. I mean, I don't know if she was having an affair per se in the movie, but like, she seemed like the type who would be involved in an affair of some kind. Whether it was like her husband having the affair or if she was like, honey, I'm having an affair.
So
You could
who,
Oh, I
confide
feel
in-
that it's always prefaced by saying, honey, I'm having an affair.
so you have
know
to
what
be
I mean?
calling your significant other honey,
I
To
feel like
have
it's
an
for,
affair.
I feel like it's for people who call each other
Or darling.
honey, or yeah,
I don't know.
darling.
Darling is not so.
What about
I don't-
darling?
What?
Darling.
Yeah, with an
Darling?
H.
I mean,
Darling.
Maybe. I think honey is more indicative of an affair. Now,
I-
does anybody
What
here
about
remember the
toots?
show? No.
Now, if you call your significant other toots, is that
That's
is
not
that
an
cheating
affair.
on, or is that affair?
If you call your significant other
just
toots, you're
uncalled
dead
for.
now.
You're gonna be in the river by Sunday.
That's a different kind of.
You could also, the
Right,
last
right.
affair example is to me saying to your closest confidant, you'd be like,
I'm having-
or it could be like this. You could either be like, I'm having an affair, and someone could go, or you could be like, I'm, and someone goes, are you having an affair?
Right. You could
Exactly.
fish it
It's like
out.
you're going to get a drink with your best friend.
That's right.
And you're like, look, Rick, I gotta come clean. And then Rick goes,
Yeah.
you're having an affair.
You're having an
And then the other friend is like, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
You're having an affair,
My
aren't you?
wife is gonna fucking leave me. He's like, well, she should. You know, you're a
You're
fucking asshole.
you're fucking bitch.
You've been doing this for how long? He's like, I just can't help myself, Tony. Fuck.
Okay, but then on the flip side, I'm curious, like,
Tony.
what is cheating on? Like, are we talking about some millennials who just go to like
I
Starbucks
think
or something, and
yeah,
then they're
I
having
feel that.
a quick chat, and they're like, I cheated on Margaret.
I think that I don't feel that like an early 20s couple who might be married from the millennium
Mm-hmm.
would be having an affair. It's not appropriate for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're
they could-
cheating. You're fucking
I would
cheating.
say they're cheating or they're like hooking up even. So
Hooking
go as
up,
far
yeah.
as to say.
Well, yeah,
Jumped on the old grinder per se.
Well, if there hasn't been a discussion about like the openness of the
right.
maybe
right,
one
right.
person thinks it's more open than it actually is, and then you're
You know
kinda
what?
like,
That brings
"Oh,
up a
I
good
don't
point.
know."
Because I feel like maybe hooking up is more for like if you already know that it's accepted in the relationship. You know, you have an open relationship, you come to your partner, you've been like, I hooked up with Barry.
No,
Yeah, right.
I mean, sure, you
What do
could
you
say
think?
that, but I feel like you would.
Barry
you could,
Levinson.
My point is that like a younger millennial couple who's being cheated on or is having an affair, would come to their significant other wanting to come clean, like let's say their wife's name is Natalia. Natalia, I gotta come clean. What is it, Rick?
It's always Rick.
I'm hooking up with Donna. He wouldn't be like, I'm having an affair. Like, that's too midlife crisis. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't feel right.
But I gotta ask you really quickly. Michael Douglas has been on the screen a lot in your house. Does that mean you've just been choosing Michael Douglas movies because Michael Douglas is in them?
Not specifically, although I've started to enjoy his affair type persona.
Would you say that you've been having an affair with Michael Douglas? Then is what it seems like.
I mean, well, hey, more of a menage a trois, if you will.
Okay. Oh, I see. It takes three to tango.
I would never use that expression either. I feel that is actually something that a couple that would use the term affair should be using, if in fact they were having a quote unquote menage a trois. I only use that term because, well, Anton and I have been watching these movies together. We're both enjoying the Douglas. You know, what can I say? We watched. The Douglas. So we watched Perfect Murder. Pretty good. We also watched Wall Street. Does not involve an affair per se. Wait, yes it does. What am I talking about? Daryl Hannah is in it, and well, even though she's not married, I would say she certainly falls into the category of having an affair. You know what I mean? Circa that time. I watched what else? That was like a 90s, mid to early 90s movie, maybe late 80s. No, I think it was.
Yeah, Wall Street's in the late 80s, I think.
Late 80s, yeah. Pretty fun movie. I mean, kind of fun. Kind of actually really interestingly shot at a lot of moments. And I also have been watching an excessive amount of Shark Tank. Not a movie, obviously, but it may as well be because I'm watching multiple movies worth of Shark Tank. And also, what else did I write there? I'm just going to brief through.
We should really brief because we should
Killer
move on.
Killer Joe, and then Before I Go to Sleep was another one. Killer Joe was kind of interesting. It was by
William
the same
Friedkin?
director. That's the guy who directed The Exorcist?
He did Killer Joe?
Yeah.
I saw that a long time ago. But
Never
What'd you
heard
think
of
of
it.
that? What'd you think?
I remember liking it. I saw two later Friedkin movies in theaters, and I was like, yeah, sure.
It's kind of fun. It's got it's got, what's his name? Dazed and Confused.
McConaughey, yeah.
Matthew McConaughey. Exactly. He
Matthew
was
McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey. Get your freaking filthy kilt out my fucking face.
Oh, I can't show you. I can't show you my 3-star rating for Killer Joe.
Oh, 3-star rating. Oh, interesting. Right. Dominic, you might enjoy it. It's kind of a fun little flick. If you will. There's a graphic scene in it that you might enjoy.
Oh.
Very I mean, it's kind of graphic, psychologically graphic. It's kind of fun.
Wait.
So is this to imply that I only like when a movie is extremely graphic?
Well, I think that you like psychologically graphic movies.
I do like. Okay, so we're not talking like, we're not talking blood and guts.
Not exactly, but like it's in that realm. But
are we talking dick and balls graphic?
I mean, it's treading on that line.
Okay.
There's a scene that I think that you might enjoy.
Nigh on. Right. It's nigh on that line.
You know what I'm talking about, Spencer? You know what I'm talking about?
You know what? It's been too long. I saw it in theaters. I don't remember. Oh my god!
I'll just say this: it involves like some fried chicken.
All right.
I sort of remember that now. Yep.
Sign me up. Yeah. When I think
I
think nudity in movies, the first thing that always comes to mind is Antichrist.
Oh.
Have you guys seen Antichrist?
Are you kidding? That first thing?
That opening sequence. I mean, man, you've never seen Dick and Balls.
Is that Willem Dafoe's Dick and Balls?
It is.
I feel that Willem Dafoe could definitely have an affair, if you know what I mean.
I mean, apparently Willem Dafoe is quite well endowed with his,
Right.
It's him, I think, right?
I do believe so.
I'm not going to really investigate, but I think.
I'd investigated, and it's him.
Okay.
At any rate, just to brief over one quick thing that I wanted to mention.
Yeah,
that
what have you
that I
been
watched
Yeah, what have
is,
you watched?
Search Party. Look, I got to put out the call for this. Search Party, which is a TV show. It's on HBO Max. I believe it started on another network, but HBO picked it up during season 3, and so now they will continue to fund and release the next seasons. But season 4 just came out this month, and man, oh man, this show is so good, and I feel like not enough people are talking about it. I'm obsessed with it. I think it's
Search Party?
Yeah,
Wait,
Search
what
Party.
channel?
It's on HBO. You can find it on HBO Max. We just got a comment from Nicole who said, I've been really into Search Party too. There we go. So someone is. But Search Party, it's a comedy, but it's very dark. Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's not that dark, but it definitely has some dark themes and some dark kind of situations that the comedy is then born from. But I think this is the funniest show on television. And I say that now that Broad City has been off the air for a few years, because I used to think that Broad City was the funniest show on TV. I feel like this is in a similar sort of like very just clever, well-written comedy in the same vein as a Broad City, if you will. But it's a story that continues, whereas Broad City is more just like episodic. You know, you can just tune in whenever. This is like you got to start season 1, episode 1, and then the story just progresses. And I just feel like it's getting better and better. Like me and Josh binge watched the first half of season 4 today. And I mean, it's just so addicting. Like I would have just kept watching, but I feel like it's almost like I stopped myself because I want to spread it out because I'm just having so much fun with it. I mean, it's just so creative, and the comedic situations that they're coming up with at this point are just like brilliant. I think. I feel like it starts a little rocky.
Season.
Okay, you watched the first season. What'd you think?
On a plane.
Okay.
Once. I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
I haven't followed up, but yeah, you were saying starts a little rocky. Was that the first season a little rocky?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like any show often has its kind of trying to figure out its tone kind of episodes, and I can't really remember exactly when I started loving it, but I didn't love it right at the gate. I was like intrigued, and I thought, okay, I mean, you know, I like some stuff.
That's how I felt.
Yeah. It's like good enough, and I'm down to watch this. It's like entertaining. But now, seasons in, and I've been feeling this now. I mean, I feel like it was basically season 2. Season 2, you didn't get to the end of season 1, did you?
I may have.
There's sort of like a twist, and that really amps things up.
I'm gonna need. I'm gonna start from the beginning again. I think
you should. I mean, it's.
I don't watch a lot of TV shows, but this one, has a leg up. Because I've already watched a bunch of it. It's just been a little while, and I had positive feelings about it, and this recommendation already pushes it.
And let me say,
it's got good people involved that I like a lot.
Yes, like the guest stars that pop up in this series. I don't even want to spoil them, but like there's so many bit parts that come into play, and I feel like just more and more, there's someone in season 4 that I was just like, oh my god. I mean, this is just. I love this.
I love it.
But yeah, definitely. I mean, I cannot recommend it enough. Gotta check out Search Party, everybody. If you're looking for a TV comedy that's just like bite-sized episodes, 20 minutes. I mean, you will just breeze through these seasons.
Minutes.
The episodes are like 22 to 25 minutes, and you just like
how long is an episode of Shark Tank?
An hour or like 45 minutes. Really? It is, yeah. It's an hour show, and then they take out the commercials for Hulu, so you're watching it. It's like 44 or 46 minutes.
There's commercials on Hulu, but not that many.
Well, not if you pay for it.
I don't pay.
Oh, you don't pay?
I don't think
Sounds
so.
like Laura has used up twice as much of her life as she thought watching
I think
Shark
I
Tank.
did, yeah.
Meaning you're actually, then you are watching a full hour. For me, there's no commercials. It just skips.
Oh, really? No, I got that commercial.
I feel like you have to
After
pay.
every single idea that's presented.
I don't know about that king.
I think you have to have a Hulu account to watch it, though.
Well,
and don't you pay for the Hulu account?
I don't think that we pay for Hulu per se.
I think you might. Wait, are you saying when you're watching Shark Tank, commercials are happening?
Yes.
All right,
I'm saying that. But yeah, we can watch a movie without commercials.
A conversation that would not have been possible 15 years ago.
I know, it wouldn't have.
You're saying that when you watch that television show, there are commercials occurring in the middle
I know
of it.
that's unheard of.
I know
it's
there was
absolute
cable.
Blasphemy.
Don't at me on none of my. I don't have.
No, it's so
social media
funny,
anymore.
like
It's
how
fine.
Anton doesn't want to watch stuff sometimes because it has commercials, and I'm like, God, you're just so spoiled. I mean, do you not remember what life was like in the 90s and even early 2000s as late as?
Yeah, I'm starting
It's
to
like
get, starting to
people.
get that way though.
It's like, come on, guys. You know, commercials are part of life. It's how you find out about stuff.
All right. Well,
This is a commercial for commercials. Commercials. It's how you find out.
Can I
about
tell you
stuff.
guy a commercial idea that I had today that might
Yeah.
somewhat amusing? All right. Anton and I were on a walk earlier in Montclair near in Oakland, the Oakland Hills. And we were on this trail kind of thing. And there was like a family that was just sort of flying by on their bicycles. And there was a kid that was singing this song. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to you. And then Anton was like saying to me, he's like, you're singing the wrong lyrics, kid. And I was like, imagine if like somebody was driving their car down like a desert road in the middle of Arizona and like the kids are in the back. They're in like a nice SUV and the kid's like, Happy New Year to you. And then there's like a police officer on a motorcycle and he like pulls them over and he's got his shades on and he pulls them over and like the dad like pulls over and he's like, and then the officer is like, license, registration, and insurance, please. And then like the dad pulls out the insurance, he looks back at the kid's still like, Happy New Year to you. And then the police officer's like, did you know you were singing the wrong lyrics to that song? I'm gonna have to cite you for that. I'm like, boom, Geico guy comes on. He's like, don't get caught without your insurance.
It's a Geico commercial.
I don't know. It's like, I just thought it could be a funny
Yo,
like insurance commercial or something like that. Like, imagine if like somebody got pulled over.
Well, Geico is
singing the wrong lyrics to Happy Birthday.
Geico commercials are the nation's current premier venue for short form sketch.
Exactly. And like the dad looks back at the kid like, kid, you're getting me in trouble over here. And the kid's just like, sorry, Dad. I don't know. I could totally see it. I could see this really taking off. You know what I mean?
Happy New Year to
you. Know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, I feel like this could really be a commercial somehow. Like, even though it doesn't even make sense in terms of like trying to sell insurance, because how this ties into insurance, I don't know. But they always do that in commercials. Like, they'll do something that doesn't even relate to the product, but
totally
somehow
random.
it's fun.
Yeah.
That's
Random.
how you get them. That's how you get the
Exactly.
kids these days.
Exactly.
I appreciate that. That's where your head went. I know that if I had heard that, it would have been equally inspiring. I'm not sure where my head would have gone, but I know that it was. That's an inspiring.
Which is funny because the kid's on a bike and they're like biking by, and the kid's just like, Happy New Year to you. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on over here?
That is really good.
And Anton is just, you're singing the wrong lyrics. I'm like, oh, they're singing the wrong lyrics.
That just reminded me too of the fact that Stella Rosa, the fake wine that is available in the world, that advertises billboards all over California. Their advertising is really direct and simple. Like, it's like almost groundbreakingly simple to the point where like it'll just say Stella Rosa, and then it says Happy Birthday. And that's
like,
the
what does that
slogan for their product. It's just Happy Birthday.
It's like I always dreamed on my birthday of getting a bottle of Stella Rosa
Of
fake
course.
wine.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
There you go.
There you go.
Thank you. I'm so happy.
There's a lot of slogans out there just waiting to be used.
Right. Happy
look
birthday.
for-
Why didn't I think of that?
That's right.
I mean, brilliant.
Okay, look,
Anyways.
we are
Okay.
short on time, but I do want to.
Yeah.
I do want to give.
It always happens
I do
with
want to
me.
give Spencer the
Yes.
the limelight here.
Give him the floor.
I take it that you watched our top 10 episode based on the notes I'm seeing in this talk.
I did.
So I mean, Spencer, I suppose now at this point it is a tradition. It seems that we always have you.
Oh, yeah.
I do not
Oh,
plan
yeah.
this. I do not plan this, but it
I know.
seems that we always have you on an episode or two after our top 10 of the year episode. And as tradition
Yep.
dictates,
you always chime in.
you chime in with your top 10. So
That's right.
I'd love to give you the limelight here. Do you think you can do a top 10 in 10 minutes
Less.
or less?
I can do it in less.
Holy shit! Wow.
Okay. Wait, I should take notes. Oh fuck it, I'll just ask you to text me them later.
Okay.
You can watch the episode, you know.
Right.
Or you can just rewatch your own dang
forbid,
content.
Yeah. Ever heard of it?
Yeah, it is just very funny that way. Like, this is the third year in a row you've had me on like basically in January. And so, like, I'm just like, oh, I just listened to your top 10 the first time I did it, and then the second time I was like, well, I did it the first time, might as well do it this time, and now it's happening. Yeah.
Here we are.
So, I feel like it's an obligation at this point. So, my top 10 of 2020 is obviously from a slimmer pool than usual, but I was surprised at the amount of movies I actually got around to, considering that. And unlike Laura, I liked all of these movies.
That was my main takeaway from our top 10 episode. Was like
most people's takeaway.
It was like you were giving your 10 favorite movies you don't like. No, that's yours. I feel like I stood by. Look, I'm not saying I loved all of them, but like even in the lower tier, I still liked them. I liked them a lot, you know.
Okay, but I told you I could do it in less than 10.
Right.
So
yes, less than 10. Here we go.
Number 10. 10
This is the new segment. It's called Less Than 10. Or we should call it 10 and less than 10.
10 and less than 10. Here's 10 and less than 10 with your guest.
Spencer.
10 et. 10 et.
Oh, shit. Oops. Sorry.
Tenet.
Christopher Nolan's Tenet.
Oh, Tenet.
10.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Wait, a movie.
Tenet?
Tenet.
Tenet.
Wait, did I see that?
I don't think so.
It doesn't seem like it, unless you hated it more than.
I might have hated it.
You didn't see it.
Okay.
I didn't really like Palm Springs either, by the way.
That was my 10.
Tenet. Christopher Nolan is somebody whose movies I was lukewarm to cold on for a long time. In the whole Batman Inception era, I was just like, no.
Yeah, I was not interested.
But then Dunkirk came around, I was like, okay. And then Tenet came around, I was like, this is fun. You know what?
This is fun.
Wait, don't tell me you thought Dunkirk was fun.
Not fun. Good, but not fun.
Oh, you thought it was good. Okay, right.
I liked it.
We'd covered that one with the old Matt Rome, yeah. Okay, carry on.
Tenet is a kind of a blast. It's just a silly goof of a serious, way too serious time travel spy movie. Good dialogue. Robert Pattinson's amazing. Number 9, Family Romance LLC is the latest fiction film from Werner Herzog.
Oh.
It's filmed in Japan, and I gotta say, Herzog's back, baby. Okay. He hasn't been this good in a while. His fiction films especially have been falling a little flat, but this one's great, so watch it. It's on, I think it's on Mubi. Family Romance LLC. Number 8, Let Them All Talk is available on HBO Max and is the newest film from Steven Soderbergh. Soderbergh is also someone who I'm either like, cool, I see what you're doing, whatever, to great. And this one was pretty great to me. It was like, I really liked the whole energy of it, and Meryl and Diane Wiest especially is great. Anyway,
what was that one called?
Let Them All Talk.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I saw that poster, and I don't know, I wasn't enticed, but maybe I should check it out. I guess
it's fun. It's cool.
Okay.
Number 7, a movie that one of you liked, even though you both listed it. I think. I'm thinking of Ending Things.
Right.
I think it was my wife's second favorite movie of the year. She really responded to it.
Everybody else just loved it. It seems like
it's because it's great, Laura.
I found it to be just more than anything. It sticks with you. It's memorable. I think like it's really memorable in its twists and placements.
Yep.
And who's the lady starring in that?
Toni
film?
Collette.
Toni Collette.
No, the the main lady.
Sorry. Sorry. Right.
Completely blanking on
Jessie something.
Yes.
But I forget.
Buckley. She's great, and I think that her twist into becoming Pauline Kael 2/3 of the way through the movie for like 3 minutes in the back of a car incredible. Anyway, number 6 is an anime film called Weathering with You, by the director Makoto Shinkai, who is most well known recently for a movie called Your Name, and people flipped over Your Name. I really liked Your Name, and I want to rewatch Your Name after seeing this because
is Your Name is that one animated?
Yes, he's an animator.
I remember that buzzing a year ago.
Yeah, Weathering with You came out in theaters just before the pandemic started. It's really good, but it's not as Your Name is way more bold from beginning to end in a way that's like quite notable. Weathering with You just connected with me in a way. It's having been to Tokyo a few years ago and wanting to go back very badly and just connecting with a lot of Japanese culture throughout my life. It really presents Tokyo in a way that is like totally intoxicating, and I just want to always go. I've gone back to it since seeing it in theaters. Nice. It's so good. Number 5 is Beanpole, which is the last movie I saw before movie theaters closed. It's a Russian film by a guy named Kantemir Balagov. It is one of the saddest movies I've ever seen. It features a scene that when I described it to Allison earlier today, my wife, she was like, "Oh, no."
What's it about? In less than 30 seconds, give us a synopsis.
It's about 2 female friends after World War II, I want to say.
Oh, so it's like Beaches. Beaches revamp.
I have not
seen it.
I have not seen Beaches.
You haven't? Oh
no,
my
I've
God,
not
that
seen
is
Beaches.
a must-see. That's a must-see. Go ahead. Carry on. Sorry.
Got to add it to my letterbox list. They're friends, but everything is very, very stark, depressing, and sad, and they go through terrible emotional turmoil and travails.
Yeah, that sounds
including some deaths and shit. It's really, really sad.
Yeah, like your wife. I say, oh no.
Great movie. Really slow and sad.
Beanpole. Okay, Beanpole.
I like slow and sad.
Number 4,
sometimes it's just
Kajillionaire.
Hell yeah.
Loved Kajillionaire. And
Nice.
that was my wife's favorite movie of the year. I really, really strongly responded to Kajillionaire. And I'm not a July fanatic necessarily, although I haven't seen The Future. The first movie didn't click for me the way it did for others.
Me and you and everyone we know.
Yeah.
Love it.
So I'm curious.
Kajillionaire.
Yeah, okay.
You had some nice things to say about Kajillionaire, though. And
I know you flip back and forth, Laura. I have no idea where you stand on this
look,
movie.
They call me Flipper. What can I say?
When we did a review,
in the ocean, and I don't like movies, and sometimes I do.
When we did a review, I feel like you start. I thought you were gonna. It sounded like you hated it when we started the review, and then by the end of the review, you were like, it seemed like you kind of liked it.
I think my knee-jerk reaction to it was to hate it, but then the more I thought about it, I was like, it's good.
It settles. Yeah.
It's kind of, it had some meritable things about it, but I certainly wouldn't call it like a favorite movie.
To me, it's
great.
Strong. It's strong in its bizarre comedic conceits and how oddly felt, deeply felt they end up being.
Yeah.
Number 3, don't need to talk about this. Portrait of a Lady on Fire. You guys reminded me of that movie. That was a 2020 movie when I watched your show, and I was like, oh yeah, number 3. Number 2.
I like how wait. Sorry, I know we'll stop the clock here, but I like how Laura just said, "Oh yeah, I liked that." Her favorite movie.
I said with an nuancedly enthusiastic. Perhaps you missed it. I said I like that.
Okay, all right.
I like that. I like that.
You gotta pay attention to the details here, baby.
Okay, and the clock's back.
Nuancedly enthusiastic.
Enthusiastic.
Yeah, Portrait of a Lady on Fire is super good. Number 2, First Cow. Love First Cow.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't watch that, but I know.
I think that was my 3rd favorite.
Gorgeous.
So good.
Really?
Gorgeous.
Okay.
And Laura, you would love that. I mean, it's
really?
it's primed. It's primed and ready for you. Yeah.
It's a little slow though. Sometimes she's not in the slow.
It is slow. It is slow.
Okay.
I'm into slow. You don't understand. I'm fine with slow. I just need it to be good.
It is good though. It is good though.
It's fine if it's slow. It just has to be good.
But you got to be awake for it though.
It's.
I'll be awake.
It's not like it's even the slowest thing. It's just good.
Look, I like slow stuff,
And Kelly Reichardt, man, she's just developing a filmography like almost nobody else. It's so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then number 1 is 5 movies. It's called Small Axe. It's by Steve McQueen. You can watch these movies on Amazon Prime. The movies are called Mangrove, Lovers Rock, Red, White, and Blue, Alex Wheatley, and Education. These 5 movies are, it's a film anthology, not a TV show, film anthology. Altogether, I would call these the best film experience I had.
How long is each one?
They range from 70 to 120 minutes long.
Damn.
So they are definitely feature films.
Wait, so
the best
what's it
one
called?
is the shortest
Mangrove?
one.
What's it called?
Mangrove is the first one.
Oh, what's the whole
Lovers
thing?
Rock, which is almost inextricably tied to the first one, is the second one.
What's the anthology called again?
Small Acts.
Small Acts.
So if you go on Amazon Prime, just look up Small Acts. Start with Mangrove. Watch them in order. If you want to watch them all, I recommend it because these are my favorite movies of the year.
Nice.
No doubt.
Did you see Sound of Metal?
Oh, I watched
No,
that.
I didn't see Sound of Metal.
Okay. Put it on there.
Didn't love it. Sorry.
Oh, Laura, I mean, of course. I feel like you just don't like movies. I think maybe you just don't like movies.
Shush your
have you ever thought that maybe you just don't like movies?
Just don't
your
even try.
millennial mouth.
You don't even know me. You
that
don't even know
movie
me.
was so good.
No,
I
it
mean,
wasn't.
you're
I'm
out of your
not sure it's hard to
goddamn
say
mind.
something like that.
You're out of your
Sorry,
goddamn
dude,
mind.
It just wasn't.
I added it.
Wasn't
I'll
for
watch
me.
it. I'll
Spencer, well, Spencer, you'll love it.
And then
I don't
Beaches.
know.
Also,
You like
gotta add
movies.
Beaches.
Oh, Beaches is a classic.
See, I like
Directed by
Spencer because
Gary
Spencer likes
Marshall.
movies.
Look, okay, Beaches is like, it's kind of cheesy. I mean, like, it's from the early 80s or whatever.
Sure.
Early 90s. Wait, I don't
Bette
know.
Midler and
Late
Spalding
80s.
Gray. Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's got all the hits. Barbara Hershey, you know, I mean, come
Bette
on.
Midler, Barbara
Mayim
Hershey,
Bialik?
Spalding Gray.
Mayim Bialik?
Bialik
can
is
you
in it
miss?
too. Yeah.
All right, you
Anyway, that's
guys.
the top 10.
I love it. Well, congrats. Congrats on watching the
Don't
movies.
even try to act like Don't even try to act like I don't like movies, okay?
Oh,
Because
you do,
do.
I mean,
Oh, let's talk about the movie we are supposed to be
Oh,
talking
yeah,
about.
should we talk
I
about
do
that,
believe so.
or-
He
I
likes
think
movies.
I do think it's time to switch on over to our main topic here, which is Promising Young Woman.
I always do this. Sorry, guys.
What? No,
I
you know
drag
we're
it
good.
out.
We're totally
What?
good.
No, no,
it's
it's
all
fine.
good. It's all good. Okay, look, Promising Young Woman. It's well, look, I'm calling it here's how I define a 2020 or a 2021 movie. 2021 movie to me is anything that came out for the masses in 2021. So to me, I'm calling this a 2021 movie because this just came out on Prime, but 2 weeks ago. Though
And nobody's
technically,
going to theaters. Yeah.
no one's going to a theater. Like technically, yeah, it released December 25th, 2020, but like only in theaters. And I feel like that just is so limiting that I'm going to call this a 2021 movie. So
Right
for all
now,
intents and
yeah.
purposes, Promising Young Woman, 2021. It's an American dark comedy thriller, which is written and directed by Emerald Fennell. This is her feature directorial debut. It stars Margaret Robbie. Oh no, I'm sorry. It stars
Carey Mulligan.
Yeah, Margaret Robbie is a
Robbie.
producer on it. But Carey Mulligan stars, and it's actually a pretty stacked cast with tons of kind of cameos in a way of Bo Burnham, Alison Brie, Clancy Brown, Jennifer Coolidge, Laverne Cox, and Connie Britton. And
Alfred Molina.
who does he play? Or who is that?
Lawyer.
Actually? Oh, he plays
Alfred
a lawyer.
Molina.
Wait, I think
lawyer.
he was in Little Women.
I think that's right.
Wait,
Nice.
have you seen Little Women, the 1995 one or 6?
Oh, the old one.
That's one old one. There's
Yeah, I've
a
seen
lot
it.
Oh, okay.
The older one.
And Promising Young Woman, it's in a spoiler-free way. It's about a young woman who is enacting revenge for a dark incident that happened in her past, her and her friend's past. This movie premiered at Sundance, like I actually was mentioning earlier in the episode, in 2020, but it's just now getting its release. It was kind of pushed back a couple times. I believe it was meant to come out in the summer of 2020, and then, like many other films, it was just pushed and pushed and pushed, and now here we are, finally it's released on Amazon Prime, so you can watch it there. I believe it's also on Vudu, but I watched it on Prime. And yeah, so look, we're gonna start spoiler free. So if you haven't seen the movie, you can keep on watching, hear our impressions. We won't mention anything about the story. And then at a certain point, we'll make it very clear that we're going to discuss everything about the movie, including everything that happens story-wise. So you can tune out then. But for now, Spencer, we like to start with the guest here. So what did you think of Promising Young Woman?
So the wife and I sat down for Promising Young Woman last night.
Mm-hmm.
And there'd been a lot of chatter in the boxed community and also out in the film creator community at large, and
it's buzzy.
Critics and all that. A lot of chatter, a lot of buzz, a lot of mixed. A subject matter like this courts controversy. It courts mixed points of view in terms of like who even has the right to discuss a topic like this. Stuff like that. I think where I land after watching it first, I really enjoyed it. Thought it was very good. I don't know where on the good spectrum I think it is. It's still percolating in the brain. I'm still sitting with it, letting it simmer. But I can honestly say it was a riveting, absolutely riveting, and a little bit hard in the throat experience. Like very much like choked with anticipation for various things as it went on. Very suspenseful in a way that is exciting and fun. Not predictable to me, but I'm no genius. But not too predictable to me. I mean, you started to see how some of the things got built up, but in the beat by beat, I was pretty on the edge of my seat. Mm-hmm. And I feel like there's something that I'm developing a reading of this movie where some of the things that I think some people are calling out as flaws could be read more charitably in my mind. Like, I think some of the more inconsistent things about it are maybe charitably read as intentional, or at least something that works with the ethos of the character that is leading us through the story. It's like in the spoiler section, I will talk about what I mean as a whole chunk of film, but
I think this is going to be a heavy one for spoilers.
So I won't say much now. I'll cut it off real shortly here. But there's some tonal shifts, almost on a scene by scene basis, and the way those work to me is to create an experience where you're seeing the world the way the character does, in that the character is kind of an actor in her own life. And so you're kind of seeing the way that you're kind of seeing it as she would be seeing it in her role in that part of her life. Like, maybe it's a sitcom, maybe it's a thriller, maybe it's a romantic comedy, like she sees herself, I feel like she sees herself as that role in those moments. And so the movie kind of forms around that in a scene by scene basis. So I find that to be a really interesting aspect of this movie, but overall very intriguing and pretty thrilling and fun movie.
Yeah, I want to return to that when we talk spoilers, because I feel like I'm curious what you mean, but obviously I don't want to know yet. Laura, what did you think of this movie, top level?
I think it was interesting. Yeah, I thought it was not bad.
Okay.
I had no idea what it was going to be about. I didn't know anything about this movie. I was a little taken aback that I had to pay $20 to watch it, but I was like, not after, but beforehand, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna pay this much to watch some movie I don't even know about. But actually, I was like, I was surprised. I wasn't sure about it at first, but I liked the like shifting tones of it, and kind of the execution was like pretty well done. I thought, I mean, it was interesting. It was like, I thought it was going to be a dark comedy at first, but then it became like a serious drama kind of. I guess I hope that's not a spoiler.
It goes around. It goes
No.
around.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, it changes genres,
both,
like
yeah.
you were saying, and like
I think it's part thriller too.
yeah, kind of. I mean, well, we could talk more about that during spoilers, because
Sure,
if you
sure.
really, I don't know, I mean,
I
well, yeah.
appreciate that our spoiler free part is really light on almost any plot specifics, because it really is good to not have any plot specifics before you watch this movie if you can.
And actually, for goddamn once. Okay, when I pull up a movie, this is a little BTS moment here. When I pull up a movie, I always just like skip. I don't even read the synopsis. Like, and I guess I had actually seen this trailer about a year ago, but I hadn't even seen the trailer in a year plus. But I forgot that
I saw the trailer like 6 times in theaters, I think.
I know,
Yeah,
but I forgot that I saw this trailer. But the synopsis on Amazon, I was like, finally, a synopsis that doesn't give away anything, because I read it after the movie, because I always I don't even want to read the synopsis, because I feel like oftentimes a synopsis will give away the entire first act of the movie.
Yeah,
and this synopsis on Amazon, I was like, whoever I hope that it was like the director was just like, look, this is all I want for people to know, and like made sure that that's all that got to even the synopsis on Amazon, because I feel like that's all you should know.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a movie to know everything before you go into it.
Can I ask a question really quick? Whose idea was it to watch this?
Well, I think I suggested a few movies to Spencer, and then Spencer mentioned that this was also on his list. And
how do you like? I'm just curious, Spencer. Like, what's your main source for finding out about movies, or are there multiple?
Oh man, well,
is it Letterboxd or like?
Letterboxd is a big one lately. Actually, I have to say. I mean, it's really a big one. But I try to just generally. I mean. I really don't. I think Letterboxd is a huge one right now, because I mean, it used to be I would check to see the showtimes in theaters. Or like Landmark, or I'm also on like the Roxy's mailing list, because they have occasional screenings that you can pay for, and they get the proceeds.
I gotta get on this Letterboxd.
Get on Letterboxd. Also, I'm on the Alamo Drafthouse's newsletter, and they also. We're recommending this movie. I follow IndieWire on Twitter, and IndieWire is a great website that I feel I actually don't often agree with with many of their reviews. Like, I feel like they're kind of all over the place the review wise. But
to me, it seems like IndieWire is kind of like more mainstream.
Well, no, I feel like they give some light to movies that don't otherwise get light from other news sources.
I like Ehrlich. I follow him on Letterboxd.
Yeah, I like Ehrlich.
I don't know. I guess I remember like looking through IndieWire, especially like on our last top 10 episode, because I was like, what even came out in 2020? And then I was like noticing the movies that they were shining a light on as like movies that didn't get very much attention in 2020, and like nowhere did anybody mention Portrait of a Lady on Fire, and I was like, why is nobody talking about? I know why now, because it came out in 2019
in a similar kind of way of this movie, where everyone's considering Promising Young Woman a 2020 movie, but for me, I just feel like that's, in a way, it's almost elitist, because it's like the only people who could have seen this movie in 2020 are film critics. Yeah, and that's not enough for me. Like, I feel like a movie should be considered when it's released for the public,
The critics lists have really gotten that way, and it's kind of a shame. Like, I don't blame any single one of them, but like the whole critics organization, I feel like, has been like, yeah, sure, I guess we all saw this movie this year, so let's say it's our favorite movie of this year. And it's like, well, it's just
like Promising Young Woman was all over top 10 lists for 2020, and I'm just like, you guys.
But I can see how
no one saw this.
Yeah, exactly. I can see how they would not want to push it ahead 12 months, like in their publication cycle, to be like, well, we're thinking about it now. Let's talk about it now. But
I guess so. But yes.
But I wouldn't do it myself. I agree with you on this.
It's just so unfortunate, like for the artists who are creating stuff that, it just so happened that they needed to release the thing at a certain time, and then they get punished for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
Amen.
inadvertently because of like stupid rules and shit. I hate that
Amen.
shit. They should just have a rule where it's like not of 2020 or 2019, but of the last X amount of months or some shit.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I just don't know.
Well,
Anyway,
to get back to our
carry
review,
on.
though,
Laura
did you have
liked
any?
it.
Did you have any further thoughts, Laura?
I thought it was pretty good. How would you think?
Yeah, I also liked it. I feel like I have a lot of mixed feelings.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really interesting because I feel like as I was watching it and reflecting on it in the last day, it even feels like the things that are both some of my favorite things about it are also some of my least favorite things about it. Like, it just feels a little uneven in certain ways that I'll get into in a little bit. But like character decisions are sometimes really cool, and then sometimes I'm like, I just don't know about that at all. And even like technical things, sometimes I'm like, damn, I love the style of this movie. And then other times I'm like, this kind of feels like half baked or just kind of like thrown to, like, some of these scenes just feel like they weren't really, I don't know, they just aren't as creative as some of the other scenes. Like, man, there's some highs in this movie as far as like, just like the cinematography and just the way that they're choosing to kind of incorporate music and the visuals all together. Like, sometimes it really culminates in these awesome sequences, and then other times it just feels so flat to me. So I don't know, I guess that's to say I kind of feel like this movie's a bit uneven. But overall, I mean, there's a couple just like kind of things about this movie that are real kickers and were pretty engaging to me. So again, like, this is going to be a spoiler heavy review, I would say, when we get into it. But I think my overall thoughts are that I would like recommend this movie, but it's I don't love it. Like, I don't love it.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
There's
say I
some
loved
major
it.
things holding me back from loving it that I'll get into.
Well, I don't even know what they are, but I just wasn't like in love with it, you know.
Yeah, well, it
Afterwards.
what I'll say though is I'm really curious as to I'm super intrigued by this director. Like, I feel like,
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see her second film, and I will
too.
definitely follow her. And like, I'm on board for sure. But yeah, I just feel like this kind of has a little bit of the trappings of like just kind of trying things out and just kind of like figuring out exactly what the style is, you know? And maybe it's the tonal shifts. I feel like the tonal shifts didn't bother me so much as just kind of like some of the stylistic shifts in a way. But we'll get into it. I mean, but yeah,
All right,
overall,
should we,
I like it.
Oh, good. Okay. Should we make the announcement for
Yeah, I feel like
getting
maybe
into
this
the next round here?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so look, we're gonna talk spoilers. This is a movie that's tough to talk around, as you are probably guessing. So if you haven't seen Promising Young Woman, and you care about spoilers, definitely don't keep watching. I feel like this is a movie to really try and go in blind if you can. But if you have seen it and you're ready to discuss, please, feel free to comment, and we'll incorporate you in. I'm really curious to hear what people have to say about this too. So if you have seen it, let us know what you think too. But we are going to talk spoilers, so bye if you haven't seen it. But hello if you have.
Hello.
I just put our spoiler warning up. So look, who wants to get us going here? Maybe just a brief little summary of what this movie is about would be a good kickoff for us.
I guess so.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, in medical school, a woman was raped in public and filmed doing so, having that done to her, and it was a very college frat hazy kind of situation. And then and the woman who is the star of the film lives with the torture of this experience having happened to her friend, because she couldn't help. She wasn't there. She couldn't couldn't be there to stop it, or prevent her best friend from living this trauma. So she lives her entire life now, and I mean her entire life from that point forward, absolutely tortured by it and using it as fodder for a number of increasingly dangerous and cleverly staged, in
Calculated.
a sense, revenge scenarios against men who take advantage of women.
Right,
and women who take advantage of the situations.
Mm-hmm.
And also the friend who was raped. It seemed to me that she was, well, I guess she was raped by one guy, but it seemed to like imply that maybe she was raped by multiple guys, but I'm not sure.
Well, there's at least a group there.
There was at least a group there, but one man in particular was the perpetrator.
But like that friend who got raped is dead.
Yes, she died presumably of suicide at a certain point.
I just want to add to what you said, Spencer, too, is that she is seeking, or she's doing these cleverly staged acts or whatever. It kind of starts as just any man who would go to the club and take advantage of a drunk woman. She kind of pretends to be drunk. That's kind of like the beginning stages of it, is she's pretending to be drunk at clubs. These men pick her up and are trying to take advantage of her, but then she kind of like clicks into her actual, like she has been sober the whole time, and she sort of like punishes these men by like making them
surprises
feel like shit.
them by showing them that she's not sober, and then she it's implied that she
those scenes are hilarious and good and savage and totally sickening,
but we don't really know.
They increasingly get, what I wanted to say though is they increasingly get closer and closer to, like, basically as the movie's going on, she is starting to hone in on specific people that were involved with her friend's rape, and kind of like it becomes in my opinion, very like Kill Bill inspired
Kill Bill,
list of people that she is like checking off the list and trying to get to the top dog, like the actual person who raped her.
It's a very I'm not going to say every scene or the whole thing is indebted to Tarantino, but there is a very Tarantino-esque feel to the scenes where she is enacting revenge on people, because Tarantino, if there's one thing especially in his last 15 years of his career, if there's one thing he's really, for 20 years now, Kill Bill, Jesus, he's really honed in on, it's the well-plotted, glacially paced, well-plotted scene with dialogue, entertaining dialogue, but it's very much like it. You understand how the characters are feeling at every moment, and how the machinations are unfolding, and who knows what and whatever. And like you really like, it's all about the like watching the script unfold moment by moment. Like, and that's a very Tarantino thing, is to like have the actors really revel in that, in their role, like whether it's the hapless person or the person who's totally in control of the situation.
Almost like they're like magnified, like iconic versions of those characters. Not iconic, but they're magnified versions of these classic types of characters.
Yeah, exactly. And like
almost
obviously like it even starts with like the same kind of title card that Tarantino uses.
Sorry, exaggerated. Exaggerated is the word. Exaggerated versions of
exaggerated. Yes. Yeah, and it starts with the same kind of title card that Tarantino uses, which is like a special font, and it says "Promising Young Woman," and there's a little like copyright, blah blah blah.
Very stylized.
Yeah, which is like 70s style. The movie's not a 70s style movie, but like that title card is, and so like you can see where they're going with it. It's like you can see it as an homage to exploitation movies, like female-led like revenge thrillers of the like 70s, and like exploitation thrillers and things like that. But though it is that, it's also an homage to the homage master, who is Tarantino. So it's kind of more like his version of it than it is like the original.
Of it. I will also say too, the title cards of just the the number of the person that she is getting revenge on
Yeah.
pops up
Yeah.
on the screen, like 1, 2,
Right,
3,
right.
4, like as she's going through her list, basically.
Yeah.
Very Kill Bill again.
Very Kill
It
Bill,
like
yeah.
shows the name, or not the name, but it shows like, okay, this is the next person in her
The
list.
next person you got to take down.
Yeah.
And what so there are a couple things about this movie that I think are intriguing in a way that Tarantino wouldn't have done, and maybe it's more likely to be done this way if it's a female director. Maybe it's just Emerald Fennell's particular goal with this film. I think it's probably more the latter than the former, but there is, of course, a difference between the male gaze and the female gaze in a lot of ways, and this movie kind of explores that.
Totally.
But I think that so the movie never uses the word rape once. I don't know if you guys happen to notice that. It's not in
That's
it.
interesting.
It's not in the script, at least not in the dialogue, and it's not violent until the end, and it feels like it's going to be at any moment. Like,
right, yeah.
So much, like, as the movie goes on, it's extremely tense. You feel like any situation she's in could turn to violence. She could become violent. The person she's targeting could become violent. It could be either one of these things, and you really don't know who's going to snap or why or when. But as the movie goes on, you kind of realize, oh, her MO is not violence in the end. It's she's not actually interested in violence. And I would say that the scene where she is murdered, the term suicide by cop. I would say that the scene where she is murdered is sort of a suicide by revenge victim. I think that it's, as the plot twist reveals, at the very least, she was very aware of what could happen to her.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like she probably didn't want to really be alive anymore. I think it was sort of like an intentional, like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it in a way where, like, if I'm going to do this, meaning end it for me, I have to do it in a way that at least fulfills my end of this bargain in life, which is to pull the revenge I need to pull. And I feel like as it goes on, she I lost my train of thought. What were you going to say? Somebody else.
Go ahead, Laura.
Go ahead. Okay. I was going to say that, I thought it was interesting how we never really see what ends up happening between her and her victims in the beginning of the film, where it opens on, like, a scene where she entices a guy who is clearly trying to take advantage of the fact that she's drunk, or she appears to be drunk, and brings her to his apartment, and then she kind of snaps out of the appearance of being drunk, and then we see that she's fully alert, fully lucid, and then it cuts after that. We don't know what happens, but
see her mark.
The scene ends with them in bed, and the guy is like about to, he's like taking off her underwear and going for her crotch, basically, and then we just see her eyes open wide, and then it cuts to the next scene of her walking down the street with no shoes on, all disheveled looking, eating what appears to be like a hot dog with what appears to be blood running down her arm.
Yeah.
But maybe it's ketchup. We don't know what just happened. And then we see the next scene, her basically at home, scribbling a name in a little notebook that she keeps with what we can only assume is the name of the guy that she just did something to.
Right.
And that's when my wife turned to me and said, so she's a serial killer? And I was like, I don't know, that's a lot of names.
Yeah.
I feel like serial killers don't usually
we never
kill that
do
many
see
people.
what she does with any of the guys. And when we see kind of, when the movie starts to unfold and reveal a little, like, inch by inch, sort of the full night of what happens between her and one of her, like, apparent next victims, we see that she doesn't really, like, we don't see her commit an act of violence until that final scene where she's she takes out a scalpel or whatever on the last scene where she's actually face to face with the guy who started all of this for her and her friend.
Her
But
friend's rapist.
Well,
yeah.
we still don't really know. Like, did she ever do anything violent to those guys, or was she just merely trying to teach them a lesson?
Yeah,
She
it's
was trying
a
to
little
do
unclear.
to the female friend, and like she did with that. Well, she ended up forgiving the lawyer, conveniently. But he was the only one that ever actually apologized. I realized. The
Yep.
lawyer was like truly sorry, whereas everybody else was like, "I was only a kid. I da 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 da." Nobody ever said sorry.
Well, it appears that's what she was looking for, is
An
an
apology.
actual heartfelt apology, not just like a fake moment of apology in the midst of like
Not
terror.
even, but it's not even moment. Nobody even says sorry.
Yeah,
They're just
no one
like,
does.
Right.
they're just like, you have to forgive me. Like, for
Right.
example, the guy that she's dating, he has to forgive her. He doesn't ever actually say sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
He
female
says, "Well,
friend
don't you
never-
understand? Like, I was just
Right.
young and like
The female
have an
friend says
excuse,
sorry.
yeah.
Like, they all are blaming her for being angry at them and holding a grudge, when it's like they're flipping it and trying to make it seem as though she's the one who needs to get over it,
Mhm.
when none of them have done anything to reconcile what happened.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's not, I think that maybe that's why she was able to forgive the lawyer. But point being, I am curious, like, yeah, was she ever actually violent?
I
And
totally
is that
thought
important? I don't know.
I also didn't really know much about this movie going into it. And so I mean I think it's more than implied that she's murdering them. Like I think your
Yeah.
first thought is supposed to be, oh, she killed that guy, or
She's
like
murdering, yeah.
or at least like fucked him up or something. Because
Yeah.
of the by the way, Nicole is in our comments and she said, I thought that was a jelly donut, and I think she's right. I think it was a jelly donut, not a hot dog.
Important.
But like, the point remains the same, that it's like some sort of red thing dripping down her arm that you assume is implied could be blood. But I totally
Right.
thought, like, yeah, she's got these two colors in her notebook. I thought that kind of implied, because some people are marked in red, some people are marked in black. I thought that
Right.
black maybe meant
Right.
that she
Or
just
blue and
scared
red.
them or something, and then red meant that she killed them. Like, I thought there was going to be some sort of reveal with that. So the
Right,
whole time
same
I was
here.
expecting like, oh, okay, so sometimes it goes to violence and sometimes it doesn't. I wonder
Yeah.
why she does that, or what. Like, I thought that was going to be more what was it about, what it was about. But
Or like at least that would get explained somehow. But
yeah, well, I ultimately was fine with that not getting explained, because of
Yeah.
I feel like we kind of understand by the end what her rules are, which I
Yeah.
think you already
I
got
don't-
at, which is that she's looking, she wants genuine, she wants an apology.
Remorse.
Yeah, she wants actual remorse for what
but
took
I
place for her
still
friend.
don't know. Like, was she violent though? I'm really curious.
I don't think so.
I'm gonna say I don't think she was. I think that
Yeah.
in the end she would take. I mean, she's put herself in such danger every time. Like,
Right.
she's in true danger in all these situations.
And she seems to assume that like she can kind of handle.
right.
Well,
and
maybe her whole outlook from the get go was like, if I end up getting killed by any one of these people, so be it. But at least I somehow
Right.
left a mark.
yeah, and it seems like she managed to get away with it enough times because she's intimidating enough and scary enough once she snaps out of it and stops acting and becomes, or I should say,
guess.
stops acting drunk and starts acting mean. Then she's like, she's able to convince them all that, this is all I'm here to do, is to make you feel bad about the fact that you are someone who's capable of doing this and you need to not do this anymore. And it's like, sort of like, her life is sort of like a big public service announcement, like
Right.
when she's doing all of these things.
I also like that they were varied too, that it felt like each person that she confronts, especially when we're talking about the kind of chapter mark ones, the ones along her way to get to the rapist, it felt like each one of those she really handled in a different way. Like, not only did the person have a very different role in the rape,
Yeah.
she also, the situation that she sort of manifests is pretty different and kind of keeps you on your feet. Like, I liked that it wasn't just kind of the same song and dance like every single time. Like, my favorite was the I guess she was like the counselor or a teacher or something at the school.
The dean.
The dean. Oh, she was the dean. Okay, I kind of missed that.
Oh, yeah.
But she goes in there and she basically presents the fact that she kidnapped this woman's daughter, and that her daughter is now
dean's
like
daughter.
in the she locked her, or she like left her in a room full of the same people who raped her friend years ago, and so then like the dean is panicking and she's like, you know, freaking out. She's like, where's my daughter? She's trying to call her, but she has her cell phone. And I felt like that was, I believed it, first of all. I thought she was actually telling the truth. And then, of course, the reveal at the end of the scene is that she goes like, you think I would ever do something like that? Like, she's like, your daughter's just in the car. Or she's at the diner. Like, she just thinks that she's waiting for a boy band to show up or something.
Yeah, right.
And I feel like that was sort of really telling,
Wet
I think.
Dreams.
Yes,
Wait,
Wet
really?
Dreams. The band was called Wet Dreams.
Yeah. I thought you meant the diner.
No.
Which would be an interesting diner. I mean, hey.
What a diner.
But I think that was a pretty telling scene to show that she says to her, like, oh, do you think I would ever, like, I can't believe that you think that I would ever do something like that, you know?
When, of course, that's what we're all thinking.
We're all thinking it, yeah.
And she actually maybe did it. There is a lot of really good playing in this movie on your expectations of what is what the main character is doing. I think this is a good way to really explain kind of what I was trying to say at the beginning. Mm-hmm. So, if you want to read this movie in what I think is the most charitable way I can think of, and it seems convincing enough to me to do so, she's really acting differently in a lot of the different scenes where that follow the tonal shifts of the movie. Like, she has sort of a slightly different persona in every scene, and you can see the similarity, so you're convinced this is a character. It doesn't feel inconsistent the way she acts in each scene from scene to scene, at least to me. But but I guess it's a little jarring at first. So at first you see her in one of these scenarios where we described, where she's baiting a guy, and she's acting very drunk, and then she starts acting very mean and clear-headed, you know, and she snaps out of it and scares the guy. She intimidates the construction workers, and then the next thing we know, or either the next thing you know or soon after, she's in her coffee shop job, and it's basically a sitcom from there. Like in the coffee shop, there's like quips between her and the boss.
No, it's like a rom-com.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah, where like quipping, her and her boss, or Laverne Cox, which is very funny, are quipping with each other, and then Bo Burnham comes in, does a super meet cute scene where he tries to like, you know, ask her out, fumbly, flirty dialogue, whatever, and then every scene with him is kind of like that. So that sets up that kind of movie she's in. And then there's the movie she's in at home, where she's just like a very like she doesn't like her parents, so she's just extremely, and though she lives at home at 30, so she's just extremely like, you know, fine, I'm depressed, whatever. Like, and that feels like that's kind of her like base level, like really like how she is actually in a way. Like, she's a depressed person, right? So like at home, she doesn't have any airs to put on. She's just very depressed. But out in the world, she has these ways of acting, and so she's kind of in a different movie whenever, depending on whatever she's doing and however she's acting as that depressed person. So like there's the scenes where she's in her own thriller, then there's the scenes where she's in her own rom-com. And you know,
well, I want to chime in here because I feel like this is actually my main problem with the movie, which I
thought that's what maybe you were trying to say. Yeah.
Well, it's not so much the tonal shifts though, but I just felt like I was all in on her mission. I feel like we got a lot of reasons to care for her enacting revenge, you know, plenty of reasons. And I wanted her to get this revenge, right? But I just didn't care about her. Like, it was more specifically like I feel like I didn't really know who she was, and like what really.
She's Britney Spears.
What?
What?
She looks like Britney Spears, and that's who she is. No,
I
just couldn't help but think the whole time I'm watching Britney Spears starring in a new movie.
I did not think that at all. Though they do play Toxic. They play the string part of Toxic.
Oh my god, she looks so much like Britney Spears.
Actually, I thought that part was really cool. But like when she's approaching the cabin with all the guys, that string part that's happening, the take.
Oh, I
Britney
like
Spears,
that.
yeah.
That's
I like that
that's the
music.
string part from Toxic.
It is.
From-
Oh my god!
yeah.
I was like, this is like
It
some pretty
is,
good
yeah.
score right here.
No, that's well. I mean, I guess it is part of the score, but it's Toxic for sure. But yeah,
Wow.
I just felt like it was. I wanted to care more about her as a person, and I just wasn't really like that invested in her relationship with Bo Burnham. I felt like I just didn't really have a read on who she was. It was more just about what her mission and her goal was. You know.
To me, she's a depressed person acting out in different ways. Like, and maybe the movie doesn't give you a lot of character specifics that would allow you to hook into that, and so that I could see how that's a criticism for sure. But that's how it worked for me as an archetype, you know. I mean, maybe, you know, if this movie was made by the same movie was made by a man, maybe I would be arguing that she's a classic female character with not enough agency and not enough or not agency, but not enough detail.
I don't think a man could have made. Like,
Cool.
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head when you mentioned the main thing that differentiates this from a real Tarantino film. Like, certainly she's inspired by Tarantino, or maybe she's inspired by Tarantino. But
It seems likely.
I feel like you already pointed out the biggest difference, which is that Tarantino is all about showing the violence, and like you're seeing every painstaking instant of.
And if there's a rape in the movie, they're going to talk about it. And they're going to say it.
And you're going to see it. And you're going to see it for minutes. You know, like,
yeah. And you're going to see it. Yeah.
And I'm not saying that there's a wrong and a right way to do it, but it is a stark difference. Like, she is clearly choosing, this director, is clearly choosing to not show the violence and not show the rape. And it's all just implied.
There are definitely women who make violent films, so that's not, you know, it's not a consistent thing, but it
Revenge,
is. It
actually.
Feel like
I was just gonna mention that.
That movie's on my list. Gotta watch.
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't seen that? Oh, it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
I like that movie.
I want to watch it, but yeah, I feel like the particular female gaze being used here is one where the violence and the lack of specificity of it packs more power than using it and saying it. You know, like in the end when she's about to mutilate the dude with a scalpel, you know, she's just like, you know, I just want you to say what you did to her. Say what you did to her. Say what you did to her. And he never gets around to it because he kills her before he gets a chance. Which
was very shocking,
very
and
surprising.
I was into it, I gotta say.
It was
that
a very
did kind of
crazy moment.
I mean, I feel like that was a cool risk, and I feel like not only was it just kind of like shocking for shocking's sake or anything, it was so much more than that, because I feel like it enabled the ending to be as kind of wild as it was. What I mean is like the ending twist ultimately that pans out, which is that she kind of like anticipated that she might die and kind of sets up this whole sting operation basically for this dude's wedding. And granted, like, is it fully believable? Like, maybe not if you start thinking about it. How the hell would she have done all of this? Like, it's a little outside the realm of real. But to me, that didn't matter because it felt right. Like, it felt right enough for it to work for me. And including her death was shocking. Why wouldn't she have
been able to do all that?
I'm just thinking, like, okay, wait, how can you even schedule a text message to go out at a specific time?
She didn't. It's not that. I don't think that's what happened. She told the lawyer probably in that letter what she wanted him to do when he got the letter. If she turned up missing,
someone else had her phone.
See, I thought that too,
the
but
it does say scheduled message.
But it says scheduled text message.
Scheduled.
Which I was like, but how would she even know exactly when the wedding was going to be?
Whatever.
And like,
no, I think she knew when the wedding was going to be.
You know.
But how would she know that he would have that they would have that all that would have definitely happened by then?
Burnham? He knew. He was invited to the wedding.
It's like The Game, though. It's, you know, that movie, The Game. It's like all the pieces have to come together in such a way that in real life we're great Michael Douglas movie. Maybe my favorite.
The man of the affair.
The affair known as The Game. I would say that
The affair known as Michael Douglas.
that's like the ultimate movie where like I don't care how impossible it is.
Yeah.
It's still a thrill to watch it all come together. And this movie is less impossible than that. It's still not plausible, but it's less impossible than a movie like that. You can still kind of see, okay, the pieces are not so elaborate that you're taken out of it. It feels when it starts happening, it's a very like, oh shit, really. But what I love about it, maybe most of all, is that as we talked about, like as I was talking about, like how she's the star of it in a real way. Like she's she's in every scene. She's in every scene of the movie up to a certain point, and the certain point that she's not in it is when she's dead. Mm-hmm. So she dies, and she's no longer in a movie that she has been in every scene of.
You really feel it. I mean,
and she's so in every scene that when she's killed, my first thought is, how can this movie continue? Mm-hmm. She's not alive anymore.
Right.
What else is there to do with this movie that has been only about this person? She's gone. And then it just kind of it just keeps going on. And as it's going on, I'm kind of like, all right, I mean,
but she's kind of in that scene too.
Oh, she is.
She is. She's dead
until she kind of comes back in a way.
Right. Like
I also was feeling like, oh man, I mean, I hope they kind of they're gonna really have to like work to wrap this up in a way that's satisfying, because while that was a shocking, I felt like her death when it happened. Building up to it, even in the scene, I was like, okay, she's gonna get out, and then it became clear, like, oh shit, she's gonna die, and then that was so shocking that I was like, I began to wonder, is it going to be worth it to have such a shocking scene if the rest of the movie is gonna just totally fall apart because of it?
Yeah.
But I felt like it was totally pulled off. Like I feel like they actually scooped up the pieces, and there really wasn't a lot of time between her death and the end of the movie.
No,
it was like
I would
just
say it's like
enough
10 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
And
honestly there was some good laughs. There was
funny,
actually like the biggest laugh I had in this movie came when the detective goes to Bo Burnham and he's like, her parents filed for a missing persons report, and he's like, what, why? And he's like, because they're missing.
She's missing. That's right. Because she went missing.
And the delivery was just so good. I just
it's like and it's a classic like Burnham too, like that's perfect for Burnham too, because it's a classic like he's been such a hapless romantic throughout the entire movie, and then when she turns on him, he becomes defensive just like anybody else, and like then he's just a hapless like asshole afterwards.
Like I didn't think that he didn't seem like, I didn't think that he played the detective scene that badly. Like I felt like he's handled that fairly well.
He did, yeah.
As a character. But I definitely knew there was going to be something going on with his character, like the minute he got involved with her. I was like, I mean, when it's turned into the rom-com,
seems likely, but I didn't know.
It definitely felt like, okay, they're like in this rom-com mode now, and this is weird. Like, I guess this movie maybe is not what I thought. I thought that for a second, then I was like, oh no, this is a stylistic choice that's going to change like very soon, you know? And then
it felt very disconnected, and I figured there was going to be something to connect the two very different movies going on.
It was clear like that they were doing this in an extreme way on purpose, but and I'm sure I knew that he was going to end up, you know, proving to be not all he was cracked up to be.
Sure, but you don't really know how it's going to...
I mean, know how,
you suspect something's up, but, like, you don't really know what's up, you know?
But I will say, like, that, I didn't... what was I going to say? I felt invested in her character. Yeah.
Okay.
That was my art. I was going to just say, like...
Yeah.
That, I think they give you enough... just enough to like keep the mystery going and make you want to know like what it's all about, you know, because we don't even know her name for a while in the movie. We're like, is she Nina? Is she someone else? And then finally
I thought
she reveals her name.
That's interesting that you say
Nina,
that.
I was like, is she going by Cassie now? Like,
I know. Like, I was confused.
Well, I noticed the like heart, you know, the broken heart necklace from the beginning. I was like, that's something that's gonna be important. You know what I mean? And then like eventually when she reveals, I think that so it's after the scene that she goes to the dean of the school where all this shit went down originally. the female name, and she's like, my friend Nina, blah blah blah. The whole time we're in that scene, I'm thinking like, oh, she's like acting as though she has a friend named Nina, but it's actually her.
Right.
Like that's what I thought during that scene, and then we find out
Disassociation.
with the scene with Molly Sims or whatever that it's actually their friend or whatever.
Shannon. Molly Shannon.
Shannon,
Right.
Molly
Yeah.
Shannon.
Oh, sorry, Molly Shannon. What did I say? Molly Sims.
Molly Sims.
Molly Sims,
Who is
yeah.
that? Anyway, and then who even is Molly Shannon's character? I don't know.
I thought
Just
she
like
was
a
the
third
mom.
friend?
I thought she was the mom of Nina.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So,
That's- that's a little drama scene, you know, in her life.
Mhm.
It's just
I
easy to frame each scene to me as like a different genre movie, and I feel like
I think that that's a really great interpretation. I totally buy that. I think that seems right, actually.
But what
it's
I
kind of
like
her perception of the world in these fragmented kind of.
And you would think that when she dies,
Right.
that falls apart because the movie continues, and so it's no longer her seeing her life in like different genres the way you could see it. But at the same time, though, if you imagine that she planned it to go this way or believed that it could go this way, then the scenes that happen in between could sort of be part of her own movie of how it would play out too, right? You know what I mean? Like she thought like, okay, well, there's gonna be the scene where there has to be the scene where Al is exonerated by his douchey buddy for killing the stripper.
Right. And maybe none of that even happened.
I mean,
maybe that was like a fantasy.
That's, you know, I don't necessarily want to go down that road, but I like to think of it as whether or not it happened, which let's say it did happen. It happened in the way she planned it because she was so good at figuring out how these things would happen. Almost every time she understands how it's going to work.
But it's also funny that, like, I mean, I guess one interesting plot point here is, did the whole party know about her getting buried and burned, or was it just the friend? Like, and
it seems like just the friend.
What was everybody else doing?
Because they weren't there when they were burning her, so I took it as they snuck her out or whatever, you know.
I mean, that seemed a bit of a stretch. It's like,
well, they might have been passed out,
as if it was just the two of them just hanging out.
We do know that she drugged them, though.
Yeah, but if the friend was able to wake up and be like, "Dude, last night," then why wouldn't the other guys
maybe he
have
was
woken
just
up and...
maybe he was just first. I mean, I wasn't bothered by it.
You think they could have like gotten her body out of there and her car and everything and done all that before anybody else woke up?
Well, what I'll say is I'm glad that we didn't have to see all that, because I feel like the faster we could get to that wedding scene, the better.
Right.
Like maybe they even shot that scene and they cut it, because that's not important. Like I feel like that's not really important.
I think it just goes the scene where he's like, "Oh, there's this dead stripper in your bed. You didn't do this. It's not your fault. Let's get her out of here." Then they burn her body. Then there's a scene where they talk to Bo Burnham. Then we're at the wedding.
Because you got to get there as quick as possible, because I was already feeling like, don't make this go on too long after she's dead, because...
by the time you're at Bo Burnham's office, you're like, how much longer could this possibly go?
Like,
I know.
That's what I was thinking. I was like,
it's the movie that needs to play out for the final event to happen.
Also, that scene where the guy with the friend comes up and like he's crying about it or whatever, and then he's trying to like calm him down. That was just so stomach turning. I mean, that scene really was like the grossest and the most kind of, I feel like that was a very, I don't know, believable portrayal of, I feel like it was getting to the root of this male perspective on rape or murder or whatever, which is just like, you know, I mean, because you see him like start to cry about it, and then the guy's like kind of shaking him out of it, like, no,
he's like, my life can't be ruined. I'm about to get married. My life
like
me. Well, there's literally a dead person next to you.
I feel like
that can't continue anymore.
That was just like the perfect. I feel like her death does result in, I think, some really it just makes you think. Like, I feel like post death, I was really kind of evaluating this whole sequence, and I thought it was maybe going, and maybe it kind of does in a way, but I thought it was maybe going to kind of turn into like, you now as the audience have to reflect on like fault, you know, like whose fault is it that she was killed, you know? I mean, it seems very clear it's this guy's fault, but like, I feel like there is a subset of maybe some people who could watch this who would be like, well, she put herself in that situation or whatever. And I feel like this movie does a great job of
she
shutting
put herself
that down.
in that situation, right? Quote unquote, put herself in that situation. I mean, in this, obviously, the only difference between the main difference between the argument of you put yourself in that situation, because that's obviously like a rape culture catchphrase,
and it's said multiple times in this movie.
Don't put yourself in that situation. But so she throughout the movie is constantly putting herself in that situation,
right.
And in this case, it's the situation where she's literally about to do physical harm to him, but it's kind of like cop culture too, where it's like, sure, maybe you felt like it was self-defense, but did you have to shoot the person in the head 5 times? No, you didn't have to do that. You could have incapacitated them in some other way so that the threat was mitigated and that you do not feel at harm any longer, like a possibility of harm any longer. This woman, intimidating as she might have been, was killed out of rage, not out of self-defense.
And she also wasn't going to kill him to begin with. I mean, it seems clear that she's going to like etch Nina's name into right, which I mean, sure, that's gonna hurt, but like it ain't gonna kill you.
Yeah, it's gonna suck, but like, he could push her off, like once gets loose of the handcuffs, he could do something that incapacitates her that does not leave her dead. But he is so enraged and in that moment that is what happens, and she probably knew that's what was gonna happen.
I want to pull in Nicole. Nicole was commenting while we've been talking. She said, I really liked it, but I agree that the weird shift styles threw me off. Overall, the subject matter and content were super compelling. Close to home for me as a student advocate during college. Excellent take on victim blaming and what it's like to be a sexual assault survivor. I thought it had a really good message. Also really impressed how she managed to teach people a lesson without really fucking them up, well, except the last guy. Which, I mean, in a way, she didn't really fuck him up, but implied that she might have.
Sent him to prison, maybe.
Right. And she allowed room for forgiveness too. And then she also mentioned that maybe the part with Bo Burnham is meant to get you, meant to get you to really see him as the only good guy in the movie until the twist. The rom-com part just went on too long for me. And I agree with that. I mean, it just was kind of like a weird back and forth. I was kind of just waiting for them to connect the dots here because I was like, what's up?
But she's trying it out. Like in my reading of the movie. She's trying it out. She's like, in this part of my life, I'm psychotic for a reason, righteously psychotic. In this other part of my life, maybe I can actually be someone's girlfriend, like possibly, and like, and so here she is acting it out in a way that like it happens in those movies, and I can see why. Is it as watchable as the rest of the movie? Not quite, but it's it works.
Yeah.
All right. I think
good.
Thoughtful, very thoughtful. I appreciate that read from Nicole and that.
Yeah, totally.
The experience as being an student advocate at college. Jesus, I mean, my heart goes out to you for that.
For sure.
And everyone that you talk to, I'm sure.
I think we should probably wrap it up pretty soon here. But any closing comments on Promising Young Woman before we log off here?
I think we said it all.
leaning towards letterbox terms, leaning towards 4 out of 5 on this. Leaning towards 4 out of 5.
Yeah, it sounds like we're actually on a pretty similar page here. I was actually expecting more disagreement. I thought it was gonna be a little more polarizing in a way. But yeah, I think
Promising Young Woman is a promising debut feature from.
Hey, there's the log line.
Promising Young Woman.
Okay. Well, there you have it, everybody. Those are our thoughts on Promising Young Woman. Check it out. Again, it's on Amazon Prime. Oh, actually, I did want to say one last thing because you said this right at the beginning, Laura, but I didn't want to cut you off. But man, I gotta say, I feel like everyone I've talked to about this movie, they're like, oh, but it's $20. Here's what I'll say about that. I do feel like that's not that inappropriate of a price given the situation that I think movies are in right now, which is like, think about how much we would have spent on movies in 2020 if we were like, going to the theater. You
well,
know,
it just reminded me that like I shouldn't be going to the movies in the theater because it's too expensive.
what?
It's like so expensive. It's ridiculous.
But it's, I
$20?
mean, you know,
Like
these
that's more
movies
than
are.
a CD, which you get to keep.
And you
I
can,
don't know. I'm
and this movie lives forever in your head.
when
Not
I go to the
necessarily.
when movies reopen, I'm gonna just go nuts.
I'm tearing it up. Yeah,
I
I
guess
mean,
I used,
Files.
the thing is, I always used to go see movies for free because my dad had access.
Oh yeah.
Directors
you get
Guild.
used to that.
So I never like paid. It's like a new thing for me.
yeah, but not the movie theater
hard to
experience.
do.
You're talking about like
No.
screeners or whatever, right?
Nope, movie theater because the Directors Guild has their own screening room, so you could see all the
Okay,
movies
well,
up
look,
there.
Laura. I mean, but I feel like movies are worth paying for, and I feel like I know it's $20
I know,
bucks.
but it gets it's more. I know it's more expensive. I remember we spent how much on that Portrait of a Lady on Fire? Some ungodly amount. Like I remember spending some
Ungodly.
ridiculous
I mean, it's not
amount.
that crazy.
You
No,
had to
like
fly
I
to
remember.
Europe to what? You had to fly to France.
No. I remember us paying like maybe over $30 to get into a movie for some movie that was so bad. Like what was it? Glitter or something like that.
Oh, I
Not
have
Glitter.
no idea, but I mean,
But
the
paying
point
to
here
see,
is that
like,
you
one of
you
those
pay.
movies.
Sometimes you pay and you don't like it. Sometimes you pay and you fucking love it. But the thing is like, I feel like there's a price of admission for art, and I know that we're kind of in this state of it feels like we should be getting stuff for free because we get so much for free.
Well, yeah.
But-
I mean, I could just be watching Shark Tank up in here.
You could. Well, anyways, like my point
We have
is
the
like
Kidding.
my point is Promising
No, I mean,
Woman
what?
soon enough it'll be $5.99, I'm sure. So if you really want to wait, you
too
can
late
wait
for
a couple
that.
months. But I feel like this is how movies are being released in a way that can actually support these filmmakers, I mean,
Oh, you're great. You're Dominic. You're right.
so look, I just don't think
Gotta love you.
just when you're paying the
That is
$20, when you're paying the $20, just think, oh, I would have spent this in the movie theater, no problem. That would be before popcorn.
This is our every week, every 2 weeks you have the segment Virtue Signaling with Dominic Mercurio.
Look it.
My
We paid
God.
the money. We paid the money to watch Bill and Ted's bogus movie or whatever.
Someone
it's
just commented. Now I feel tempted to pirate Laura's music since she doesn't want since she doesn't want to pay to watch films.
It's already free on Spotify.
Yes.
I mean,
Most
sure,
people
okay.
don't pay
And
for her
YouTube,
music
and
anyway.
YouTube.
Trust me, we don't.
But
pay
don't you want
very
people
much.
to pay for that CD and get
I
a little
would
piece
love
of treasure
people to pay
in their home?
$20 a song or an album.
Oh
to
my
listen
God.
To it once, but I mean, no one is.
My goodness.
No, it's cool. I'm so grateful for everybody. And you know what? Dominic's right. You should get out there and pay the money. It's true. It just felt it was a little painful for me to do that today. Just because,
My wife and
well,
I have watched
look,
it
I'm
together.
spoiled. What can I
We
do?
watched it together, so it was
Two for the price of one.
There you go. Yeah,
There
yeah.
you go.
And I'll admit that I also saw the $20 and I was like, oof, $20, damn. But it's like I had to stop myself to remember too, like how much money I saved in 2020 not going to the movies, because I spend usually a lot of money per year on just seeing movies, which I think is money well spent. But like I feel like now you got to spend it in a different way.
And Sundance is $15 a movie. Right.
That's insane. I mean, that's a great deal because these movies are premiering.
Wait,
in
where did
Sundance.
you find out? Where do you buy the Sundance movie stuff? again?
Sundance.org.
Okay.
Sundance
Yeah.
website.
Do it.
It's all set up for you.
All right, Spencer. What a lovely time.
A nice long app. Another nice long app.
Yeah, great having you.
Yeah.
I always appreciate having you on. I guess, I mean, I will say that it would be great to have you on before next, early next year. But it seems that tradition might just dictate that your next
Tradition
episode.
stipulates that I must return in 12 months' time.
Yeah, but perhaps we'll have you on sooner as an added
Yeah.
bonus, a fun
Hell
little,
yeah, man. Just call me up,
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, again, thanks for being on this episode. Where can people
Always
Happy
find?
New
love
Year.
you guys.
Where can people find your music if they want to check it out?
SpencerOwen.bandcamp.com. I'm flying solo these days. That EP that I just came out with is a solo EP, back to the old one-man band. and so SpencerOwen.bandcamp.com, or you can just search my name in Spotify and all
Right
your
on.
streaming services,
Cool.
including the one I work for, Pandora.
There you go.
There you go. There you go.
All right, Spencer. Thanks for being on. We will be back in 2 weeks with a new episode. That episode will have Chad Opitz, who's also been on the show before. And it'll be February 14th at our regular time, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. So
I love Chad too.
Love Chad, yeah. I'm excited to have him back on. We haven't decided on the movie yet, but you can follow us on Instagram, and that's usually where I'll first post which movie we're going to review if you want to watch along with us. So once we've decided, we will post there, and you can watch or not, whatever. I mean, it's your choice. It's your life. It's your money. You can spend your $20 on movies, or you can spend your $20 on DoorDash, which I do nearly nightly. So
did both tonight.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back soon. Thanks, Spencer, for being on. Thanks, Laura. Bye.
Thank you, Dominic, for all you do.
Bye, everybody.